Another here today. We've seen the lineups. What are you liking? It seems like the panel is more shifting over to the side of Liquid on the way that the drafts ended up here.
Yeah, I think overall I'm pretty much in agreement that I think Liquid's ease of execution probably favors them, but I do think there's specific elements of this game where OG's lineup does thrive. Actually, there's like timings around, especially the peel, which I think was a really good last pick for OG, given, you know, how cornered they kind of were compared to what they usually play. That said, though, I think if Liquid do come off to an explosive laning stage and they win their lanes, I think this OG draft is going to struggle heavily to come back. So a lot of it really comes down to them getting off on the right foot in some potentially pretty tricky matchups, right? You're probably playing CK into Monkey King. You're playing PL into likely a Razor, which isn't the easiest lane ever either. So maybe they'll try to switch things up a little bit and put some unexpected lanes to catch Liquid off guard.
Yeah, we have seen both teams be very smart in terms of the matchups that they'll try and go for when the lanes do come to a start. So yeah, we'll see if we get any movements at the beginning of this game round. Around the bounties already, Liquid will be able to grab themselves 3 at the 4. Try and poke towards Misha with the Arctic Burn. He's going to make it up to the high ground, but Liquid will be quick to chase him. Misha looking to be in a bit of trouble here. There's going to be no escape for this man, as this will be first blood. They'll make sure that Zai, he's the one to get it.
And it looks like it will be the standard lanes from OG here. They are just going to put the Coddle mid and CK Skyrath top. So if Liquid are expecting this laning and they put the lanes, I don't know. I see a theory here, or a theoretical win in both side lanes here for Liquid quite clearly. The Monkey King Jakiro lane should be pretty good against CK. Oh no, they got cornered here. That's okay.
Now, let's see how well OG can deal with these two side lane setups, which, as you say, on paper could definitely be tough for OG. At least on the first few levels. Not easy matchups.
Yeah, Wyvern is not exactly a formidable laner, right? This hero compensates for a weak laning stage by having amazing teamfight and some great utility later in the game, but you're putting that hero together with PL, who also isn't exactly a lane-dominating carry, and you're playing that into Razor Clock, so I definitely have Liquid favored in this bottom lane. The top lane is a little less obvious because I think there's a lot of potential for Sky and CK to get kills when they get level 2.
Okay.
So you got to be careful if you're Liquid here, especially, you know, Monkey King doesn't have a high base health, so Skyrath plus all his burst and a CK stun can threaten the monkey so much that he can't fight back. So this is probably the side lane for OG that I think in theory goes the best. And the mid lane should just be a wash, right? It's Coddle versus Tiny. They're just going to push creeps and farm the small camp. So
bottom lane.
Yeah.
Misha, the level 2 cold embrace. Going to save him a little bit. So they'll push back at the cogs and the remaining bit of battery assault. Another push back on the second cog. That'll do it as well. Misha cannot get back to safety. A second death for the Wyvern here on the bottom half of the map.
Now what they are accomplishing though is that even though he's dying here on the Wyvern, you still have decent CS on the PL. He's matching the Razor quite fine for now. Obviously you would prefer not to have deaths, but effectively they're not getting bullied out of the lane on the carry, and Misha's kind of taking the bullet instead. Sometimes this is necessary for the 5 to do, because if the Wyvern just plays super defensive and stands behind the PL, they're going to bully Yuragi so hard that he can't really get CS. So Misha is playing up front, and that has cost him his life now in lane once.
We'll have to be careful, but as you say, Yuragi able to CS decently so far. Top lane, so try and set up with a Boundless Strike. Maybe see if they can chase down Amar. Matsu's getting burst pretty low, but he'll be able to build up the Jingu Mastery. Doesn't matter. Tiger has the straight-up magical burst to take Matu down before he can get any of the benefits of the lifesteal. And off the back of that, Insania also gets run down. So OG in that top lane, they have the damage in a sort of situation where Liquid, they were opting to try and fight that.
Yeah, and now the top lane is going to be a problem for Liquid, because if there's one thing Monkey King doesn't deal with very well, it's falling behind early in the lane against that lane with burst. Skyrath and CK are going to have the levels now to almost 100 to 0 him if he is not careful and doesn't use a very clutch Mischief on a key spell. He probably needs to Mischief dodge either the Chaos Bolt damage or the Concussive Shot if possible. It's like you're sitting on 700 health. He's probably going to need to buy a Raindrop here to sustain himself. I'm not sure if that's what's coming out in the courier. And Amar has gone for... It is not. It's just a Jakiro courier, so nothing for now. And Amar has gone for double braces. So he's like super high impact laning build. Really going to try to put pressure on.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Amar doesn't mind taking a few punches from Matu at all in this laning stage now with those early stats built up. So in the mid matchup, continues to indeed just be straight up trader farm. BZM will be able to be a little more efficient with the stacking, of course, with the call, as he'll be preparing the jungle for him to clean up and get those that very good timing on the boosted traveler, as you would imagine.
Mickey is definitely doing a good job, though, with these 9 denies. This is one advantage that Tiny has against Caudle in the mid lane, is that Caudle a lot of the time has to, when he illuminates, it's hard to set up the lane perfectly so that you get all of the last hits, and Tiny with a tree will beat you on everything that you don't illuminate. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, aside from the top lane, I think everything going completely according to plan here for Liquid. So they can obviously compensate for this top lane having a rough start, but it is really important for OG to have something to hold on to from here. And how many games have we seen in this season just Amar trouncing the opponent with a good start? So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for the CK. That matchup against Razor is pretty good. The Tiny one can be a little bit iffy, but Amar can definitely find his moves in this game.
I see in the mid, Boxy did head over to try and disrupt BZM whilst he's backing up for the stacks, but couldn't quite control him long enough with the battery assault to allow Mickey to dive the tower and take him out. BZM does hang around, actually, to burst the wave once more. That will give the chance for Mickey to still step up and kill him. Came back to try and push out the wave once more with another blast. And yeah, came too close for Mickey. Walks up and takes him out 1v1. That's going to feel great for the mid-Tiny.
Yeah, it's a really big pick. Not only that, but the top water rune is still available, 5 minutes 20. The Caudle just never went and got it. So if Mickey realizes that, he can get a full refill here pretty much from that water rune, but it doesn't look like he identified it just yet. He's probably in disbelief if he goes and checks
I think that
it's still there.
Yeah.
But that might just expire at this point. How often do you see a water rune expire in Pro Dota?
I think he's going to check. Is he going to check it? 10 seconds? He's heading over. Yeah, he's going to be able to grab it.
He's checking for the 6-minute run. He's like, wait, what the hell? Was it water run?
It's here 10 seconds early.
Nice.
And there we go around the wall.
Kill top Amar. Just grab Insania there together with Taiga, of course. Misha's going to fly away here. This matchup for Clockwork is kind of iffy. It can be okay in the lane in the start, but obviously Arctic Burn is always going to enable you to distance yourself from the clock. And a lot of the time when Clockwork goes in, he sets up the team to follow through, and the moment that happens, you're giving the enemy a potential curse. So Clock, Tiny, and Monkey King need to be careful in the mid game here how they play against the Wyvern, because aside from the Clockwork, they don't really have the best catch for a Wyvern that's well positioned in the backline. You can maybe flank with a Monkey King from the trees, but ideally Tiny is not finding Misha in fights if Misha plays it correctly.
Sure. So
that is definitely something they're going to have in the back of their minds. Oh, Amar's in trouble.
Yeah, top lane. They're going to bring the resources in to try and take down Amar, and they'll successfully do so. They needed to make this move. Amar, top net worth right now for OG. They have to shut him down. We've seen it all too many times before, as you said earlier. Amar, if he gets a good start, he will carry the game. See now on the bottom, Zai is on his own. Let's see if these two can do too much about him. I mean, with the link on the correct target, it's hard for Uragi to push in anymore, so he'll have to back off. Zai should be fine under his Eye of the Storm. Salve at the ready as well. Just a little too hard for Misha and Uragi to focus right now. In fact, Zai, he can get back in and maybe find Uragi. Still pretty low here. And definitely respecting Zai. Zai is pretty scary right now. In fact, the plasma field's up. He's going to get kills out of this. He's going to be able to take down Misha. Uragi will jump back in, but he's still incredibly low. Avalanche from Mickey. They're going to be able to clean up both kills there on the bottom lane. Zai just, realizing this point of the game where he was just able to run them down, create enough sort of attention that time was brought for Mickey to head down and help clean up. They get both kills.
And just talk about a value skill point. That Rocket Flare did everything there. Gave him the vision, gave him the knowledge about what he could do, and also the fact that there's no TP rotation coming. He feels safe going for the dive when he knows that. All right, deny on the rune from BZM.
Yeah, I believe BZM.
Boxy there, but yeah.
Pretty much just picked up his bots. Like he hadn't got them quite in time to be able to turn up and do anything to help out to that bottom dive that Liquid were coming in against.
Oh, Misha, not again.
Mickey with the wraparound, able to burst through Misha, and Uragi, he's just TP'd into here. He kind of needs help. I see the Rocket Flare again, giving this perfect vision behind the tower. That's going to make it that much easier for Liquid to continue to push in, take Uragi down. The second time back-to-back there on that bottom lane. I don't think you want to come down here anywhere near Zai unless you're bringing more than 2 heroes right now.
This is starting to look ugly at this point. Like, now Uragi's recovery curve is so insanely steep. They're going to lose Taiga up here as well. Mickey is just all over the place on this mid-Tiny. 4-0-1. He's killed now in every single lane. He killed Caudle mid. He rotated bottom twice. And now he goes top as well. just keeps this momentum going. And the thing about OG's draft that I was alluding to earlier is that if you don't do well in laning phase, the way you set up plays right now is extremely limited, right? Like your only catch is a CK stun. You have a mid Caudle who really wants someone else to initiate so you can come through with that big damage. And your 4 is a Skywrath who, in this case, is extremely susceptible.
Yeah.
It's going to get killed by Clockwork, it's going to get killed by Tiny, and it's going to get killed by Monkey King, no problem when it goes for a move. So really, really tough spot for OG right now, clearly on the back foot. 9 minutes in. That's pretty rare that they're this far behind.
And this was what we were sort of seeing in action. This was the concern when you sort of look at the two drafts, right? That there would be this time of the game where Liquid's going to come running at them, and OG won't quite be prepared to deal with them in this portion of the game.
Yeah, for sure. This was the concern. This is almost the worst case scenario, I guess, right? Because the bottom lane lost this hard. Misha's 0-5, 9 minutes in on his Wyvern. He's just been absolutely destroyed. And again, with Yuragi also being killed twice, this effectively puts their bottom lane to 0-7 in 9 minutes. That is pretty rough, to say the least.
Yeah, Zai's going to be happy. I mean, it was 4-0-2, I believe the other day as well. I think it was maybe in the last series that Liquid played, we did have Zai on the Razor, and he did go full carry mode when he was playing his Razor. We saw him getting the BKB at a good time, running in 1 versus 4, and being incredibly disruptive on this hero. So OG, they have to have ways of dealing and killing the Razor, but if Zai does get a quick BKB, it's going to be tough.
And it goes back to the draft, right? Which I thought Liquid's approach to the series was really cool in this first game, that they banned out the Timber and Viper, and then they took a Mars Razor. So they're like identifying this is where, in the first phase of strategy, we can have the highest impact by just denying him his heroes that they always open with.
Let's see what they can do here.
In trouble here, though.
They want to try and take down Zai. He's going to have the rest of his team moving over. I think Zai's going to be fine. In fact, yeah, he's just going to TP out. They can't kill him in time, and now the counterplay's there. Boxing in with a hookshot, catches BZM. The avalanche combo from Mickey takes the 2 of them down. The battery assault stops the TP of Tiger. OG, they'll lose 3 down there. All kills going into the hands of Mickey as he continues his streak. And that bottom movement, it felt a bit awkward from OG.
I think the Illuminate actually missed.
I think it did. It didn't look like it took any damage at all. It must have just missed. I mean, it was very, very close, but I mean, even if it did, I guess Zai's still TPing out anyway. And now top lane. Look at this. Look at this. Quick moves from Liquid. Straight away they go for Amar. Amar has got the TP, but Boundless Strikes at the ready. As soon as Liquid get the triple kill with Mickey bottom, Zai and Matu, they're picking up action top against Amar.
So you're going to see the Illuminate here in the replay just barely missing on top of the Skywrath Silence. That would have been a significant amount of damage. I don't know if it... They might commit for the kill if that hits, actually, because then I think they're going to go and blind him and just try to kill him altogether. They were still going to pay with their lives, right? Because the outcome, the rotation was coming. But at least that would have been something for OG with their 3-hero rotation. Now they just ended up rotating 3 heroes, all of them dying, and then getting killed top after. So it can't really get much worse than that.
I mean, and look at some of this.
Just going to keep snowballing.
Look at some of this net worth as well, right? Bottom lane, Boxy. It's not going to quite be able to get in onto Misha with a hookshot, so this time Misha should be safe. But sort of seeing the disparities between the mids, it's not very often that you see, 12 minutes in, the mid that's opposing a Cottle mid be about 2,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, this basically never happens unless you go on an absolute killing spree with your mid hero, right? Because Cottle will always have that farm. Even if he's having a tough game, he will still find CS. So in order to overtake him like this, we are talking like 5+ kills, and you are sitting on 7 here on Mickey. And a lot of them were on cores too. It's not just been him only killing the Wyvern, right? He's also found a kill on the PL. He's found a kill on the CK. So it all ramps up pretty quickly. And honestly, if I'm OG here, I'm feeling a little bit lost in the game. Like, what's the play? You have an idea generally when you go into the game of like your timings and what your strategy is meant to accomplish, but what's the play right now? Is it trying to force top? They will kill Insania here at the very least with 4 heroes, I believe this is. Yep.
I mean, Liquid's going to turn up and maybe try and find something in return. They'll get Misha. They'll keep the tier 1 alive. Insania doesn't even die. He was actually able to walk it off. OG, apart from a little bit of damage to the tower, they're not going to get anything else out of that move top.
That's got to be demoralizing. I counted him for dead there for sure, but with the raindrop in wand, he actually survived.
Oh, and they've just sniped BZM's courier. That's the Vessel recipe out of the game.
They can't catch a break. Everything is going wrong for OG, actually. absolutely everything in this game. Their laning stage didn't go the way they wanted. The rotations aren't going the way they wanted.
I mean,
has
Boxy got this kill
way
here?
ahead of them.
He's got a hook shot. Is it enough damage on his own? Not quite.
It was blinding light.
Yeah, and they should be able to punish Boxy for this one. Yuragi and Amar will come across and take him down. So a little bit of a break there for OG.
Yeah, that kill is, I think, just impossible for Boxy. But if nothing else, he forced a pretty major rotation, right? I think it was Coddle plus PL rotating down. Or well, Coddle didn't rotate; he was already there. But the PL wasn't hitting creeps.
I thought about the call. Shows himself in the mid to blast the wave. Liquid, they're there with the jump. Mickey gets in straight away. I believe that was the blink reveal. Just picked it up after the Echo Saber. It still catches BZM by surprise.
Yeah, BZM has to be careful now with how he illuminates. I don't think you can stand in the middle of waves anymore or in the middle of lanes. You have to blast from the tree line and keep yourself concealed the whole time. It is tough times to be a Coddle in this game. You need to avoid Monkey King from the trees, you need to avoid Clockwork, and you need to avoid Tiny bursting you. But you have to push the waves.
And some of the jump. There's a lot of backup here for Misha. Mickey's pretty tanky, and he's got Zai by his side. So hard for OG to get in on this. Misha nearly dying to the tree that Mickey throws his direction. We'll be lucky to walk out alive there, Misha. Over to the side, Amar will manage to escape the Wukong's command. So this time OG able to make sure that no one dies here to the aggression of Liquid, chasing them deep into their half of the map.
Yeah, Matu opting for the Mage Slayer first in this game. I guess there's some value against both Coddle and Skywrath, right? But I actually thought he was going to go more of a, just kind of traditional carry build with how well the laning stage went. This does mean that he will ramp up slower on this Monkey King than you could with a usual farming adding a Maelstrom or Battle Fury, but his other cores are doing so well, it's probably going to be fine.
To the side, again, Boxy, hookshot straight in onto BZM. He and Misha will go down. We'll see Boxy should die in return, but Amar had to commit in for it, so loses his life. Mickey Tumblers toying forward to close in on Tiger, gets the toss off. It's 4 dead on OG. And look at this, straight away towards the top. Yuragi is going for the TP out. He's actually going to put a stop to it there. No, there was no Boundless Strike available. Mickey was coming in, so maybe he would have avalanched him in time anyway. But that's him gone.
Was that a long TP from Mickey? I think.
Would Yuragi have been able to TP out if he didn't cancel? Because I think he did just cancel because he thought the Boundless was there.
I think he would, but he thought the TP was arriving earlier than it really was, and then he canceled and went for the Doppelganger to try to avoid a potential Eva toss combo. So just misjudged the situation. We're probably going to see that in a replay.
Let's have a look. Indeed, Matthew, the first TPing in, would have prolonged the TP from Mickey.
Yeah, he's definitely out here. Maybe he thought there was going to be a Boundless.
He thought there was a Boundless, but it was still on cooldown for 4 seconds.
Yeah. He was not aware of that. So this makes a lot more sense, right? Because he thought the Monkey was TPing in with Boundless ready. So.
And back in action. The Liquid, they're going to continue to bring it. Toss there from Mickey, gets the two of them grouped up. Amar and Tiger in a whole world of pain. As they'll fall again. 24-5 here, 17 minutes and 11,000 gold lead now. Liquid, they're turning up big time here in this game 1 against OG, and I think we're seeing from some of the moves from OG. It's almost as if they're sort of stunned with this opening that Liquid's just running them over with. They're kind of losing the plan.
Yeah, I will definitely say if this was the plan, then it was a bad plan. So it's this kind of game that can happen when you have a strategy that is this reliant on not getting stomped in lanes against a lineup that has strong lanes and then transitions like a beast into the mid game. It's kind of funny to see OG be pressured like this, because this is what OG have done to a lot of other teams, right? It's just some of their own medicine with the first pick Razor, and then all of these like stuns and aggressive heroes to combo it up with. That's a dead Wyvern.
And look, we see as well. Look, Matu setting up with some tree-on-tree action here.
Yeah.
Looks like OG won't head into this area. They know it's dangerous. I mean, Yuragi is still pretty far up the lane. See Matu try and start something onto him. I mean, the backup's coming in. Yuragi gets caught by the ice path. A couple of hits from Matu. Doppelganger will be out in time. Is there any way Yuragi can juke this? Matu jumping up to get vision. Yuragi tries for the TP out. But Matu will be able to hop off the tree, finish him off. Down the lane, everybody else on OG dying. Apart from Amar, as he's the one able to walk out. Misha just respawning, but 28-5, the kills continue to roll in for Liquid, and OG just not being able to achieve much at all against this pressure.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, I wonder if this is going to beat OG's fastest GG record out that they had against Tundra, but I think they have outlived that now, but it's looking about as grim as it did in that game, if I'm honest. Like, you've got to pull out some sort of heroic team fight. You need a curse that kills a core, ideally, so you need to catch someone next to probably the Tiny while he has a tree and has Echo Saber ready, and you need to... Well, this might start off something. That's at least a free pick on Boxy. So, there's just not many bright points to look at for OG here, really. I think this is what you do. Like, you got to smoke up, you got to run for something, try to find fights as much as possible, and get some comeback kills. There are some big kill streaks in the enemy team if you manage to pull it off, but great positioning here from Matsu to break that smoke. Yeah,
and Matsu's also got the full BKB coming out in the courier, so we'll have a BKB prepared for whatever fight OG try and bring to him.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's see what OG want to do. Smoke's starting to come to an end. Unlikely to be able to find a chance to fight under the cover of that top lane. Zai, it's going to be on the case of Yuragi. Yuragi trying to doppel down to the low ground, but getting a little unlucky with the RNG. The only one that stays up on the high ground is the main hero itself, so Zai will have no trouble running him down and taking him out. Back over onto the triangle of OG. Liquid, they're straight in on there. They're onto Amar. We see the backlines getting controlled by Boxy as he's in with the hook shot. Mystic Flare does get slammed down upon him, so Boxy will fall. But he's able to create that space, that pressure to push back the supports, make sure the room's there for Amar to fall. Mickey, he's going to be ready to jump behind the tower most certainly. The trees just get thrown out here with the axe, the DD as well. Instantly killing Misha, slapping down BZM. It's 32-7. We're just 20 minutes in.
This might be the most dominant performance we've seen from Mickey all season in a single game, honestly. I just think he's completely taken over this game on his Tiny. He got a head start with that kill on the Caudle, and then he's just been using that to absolutely destroy the entire map. He's killed all over the place. He's still not top net worth in his team because the Razor's been farming so much, but... Or actually, he is barely. It was the GPM, sorry. It's so close between the two, which is kind of impressive from Zai as well, right? But he's also 11-0, so, you know... It's some pretty good score lines here, and I think if you're Liquid, you just keep your hand on or keep your foot on the gas here, right? Like just keep running at them, keep controlling the area.
Trying with the smoke, but look, Matsu on the tree, ready to put a stop to it. BKB's out and ready. We'll see Tiger die to the edge of the Wukong's command. Amar fall in the center of it. 3 dead. Jump over towards the side. They'll use the cast on back, but it's all over. OG, there's no coming back in this one. GG is called. Liquid 21 minutes in. 35-7, 17,000 lead. We'll take this game one. What a performance then. I think without doubt the best that Liquid's looked, and against a team that I think, if anything, most people were at the least expecting a close game.